Today's episode, I'll be teaching you how to juggle. So here we go. How insane is this? I can't tell on this thing. Why is it so slow? Hey y'all, what's up? My name is Gracie. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. I just got back from a 2-week trip to Greece and I cannot wait to tell you guys all about it. This has been so requested. How do I travel? How do I plan? How do I manage? And this video is going to tell you all about my experience on the Greek islands trip through EF Ultimate Break. I know that travel is a super sore subject right now and it can be really scary. I am fully vaccinated with the Pfizer vaccine and even I was a little bit worrisome going into, oh my goodness, traveling's opening up again. What if something happens? But let me tell you, I had the best time ever and I'm totally fine. Got a negative COVID test coming back in. I felt very safe abroad in Greece, especially with the company that I was with. This trip has been in the works since October of 2019, my sophomore year of college. I'm now a senior in college, so pretty much 2 years. I was supposed to go on the Greek islands trip through EF Ultimate Break last May, and then COVID hit in the beginning of 2020, and so then it was May 2021 and Greece still wasn't open, and we were thinking about switching it to May of 2022, but I will be graduating. They're like, we're opening it up for August, like if you're fully vaccinated, if you feel comfortable, and I said, let's do it, and I'm so glad I did. Did miss sorority recruitment because of that. I know a lot of you are like, what the heck, why did you choose that? But with EF Ultimate Break, I just knew I couldn't pass up the opportunity to go as soon as Europe would let me. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of a rundown of why I chose EF Ultimate Break and what EF Ultimate Break is, because a lot of the times you guys have seen I do my own traveling, my own planning. When I was in Costa Rica for a month with Sydney, we planned all of that ourselves, but let me tell you, it's probably the most stress-free traveling I've ever done in my entire life. Everything was done for us. Flights were booked through them. All of our excursions we had booked through them. Our tour guide Heracles was awesome. I love him. So here is what it is. EF Ultimate Break is a travel company for young adults 18 to 29 years old. So this can be groups of friends or you can go solo. I almost went solo until Sydney just happened to jump on my trip. But basically, if you're like, hey, I really want to start traveling, I don't know where to start and I don't have anybody who wants to go with me, literally book an EF trip. There were so many people that I met and made tons of new friends on this trip who just had booked a trip by themselves and were like, I'm gonna make friends on this trip because you're all just around that same age group and doing things together. And you could go with your friends. So like if you and your friends don't know where to start when it comes to travel planning, you can all book on the EF Ultimate Break website as well on the same trip. There are so many options and definitely so many more EF trips that I'm looking forward to doing in the future. So everything from your flights, accommodations, travel to and from the airport, the ferry ports, around the cities, everything is included in the trip fee, which is really amazing. And like I said, so stress-free. I mean, to not have to think about something or to think about like, oh, how are we going to get from here to here, from A to B, from B to C? Like, what are we going to do today? You get suggestions if there is free time, or you can do optional excursions through EF Ultimate Break. So I did the 11-day Greek islands trip and it was so much fun. We all flew into Athens. We were in Athens for 2 days. Then we got on a ferry that took us over to Santorini and we were there for 2 nights. And then a ferry to Paros for 2 nights. And then a ferry over to Mykonos for 2 nights, and then the rest of the group returned to Athens, stayed there for the night, and flew out the next day. I took the liberty of extending my trip just a couple of days. You can pay $75 through EF Ultimate Break and switch your flights on either end. You can go in early of the trip, you can stay later. So I ended up staying later and just staying in Mykonos another night and going to another island, but that's a whole nother thing, and they helped me plan all of that too, and were so accommodating when I needed to change my flight to come home a day earlier than I said I had. Was to come home August 18th, and then a couple days earlier I realized, I'm like, dang, I need to be home August 17th, like I need to leave. And they were so good about being able to switch my flight, and it ended up not costing me any more money because they were so nice and willing to work with me. So that was a big help too. I think seeing all the logistics that went into this trip made me extremely grateful that I decided to do Greece with EF Ultimate Break, especially all the buses on the islands would have been really hard to like coordinate stay by ourselves, so I was really grateful to just like have transportation to and from and not have to take like super expensive taxis while we were there. When we were in Santorini, I ended up doing the extra wine tasting, which wasn't even just a wine tasting, it was like a full day island tour on this bus, and it was so wonderful. We got to see these small towns I never would have thought to even go see without having been on that trip, and again, everything coordinated. I was like, thank goodness. Greece is just amazing in general, and I think it made it even better that, again, like I said, and like I'll continue to say, and I've been telling all my friends since being back at school here, is like, it was so stress-free. I would do it again just for the stress-free part of it, not even everything else that adds on top of that, but just, again, all the logistics and everything. Like, I would have had to plan that. I wouldn't have made it, and I would have ended up spending so much more money trying to figure it out myself if I would have gone by myself than I did having gone on the trip. And of course, they made sure we got to see everything we needed to and more. The Parthenon, which was holy moly incredible. Like, I couldn't even believe that I was... Okay, actually, how insane is this? We're in front of the Parthenon right now. I love this place. There, it's like one of those things that you look at your history textbooks from like the time you're in like the 3rd grade up until your senior year of high school, and you just see the Parthenon and how it really is involved in history, and then you're like, I am standing in front of the freaking Parthenon right now. I never thought I would be there in a million years. The sunsets in Santorini, I mean, people do not joke around about those sunsets. Holy cow, it was beautiful. If you haven't seen my TikTok of the sunset and the dress that I wore, I mean, I don't have enough good things to say about it. My TikTok will be down below. Just go watch it after this. Faros just had the most beautiful little side streets with all these flowers and shops, and I bought the super cute 2-piece pink set and some earrings and all the different little shops and locally owned businesses and gyros. Ooh, the gyros were so good. And of course, Mykonos is known for like their nightlife and going out and partying, which you guys know me, that's not really my place there, but I still had so much fun in Mykonos. We loved going into Chora, which is like the main town, and it wasn't really far from our hotel, so we went there every single day and ate lunch and dinner and walked around and did some more shopping and bought olive oil and honey and all these different things. And on top of that, Heracles, I have to shout him out in this video. I loved him so dearly. He made the experience 10 times better. Having somebody so knowledgeable and so friendly and so helpful for everything we wanted to do. I was like, Heracles, I needed this sunset video. I need to go see this. What does this mean? How do you say thank you? I mean, anything and everything I could have possibly wanted to know, he was able to. But I really wanted to make this video because I didn't do full-on vlogs in Greece. I took around a little camera and I just filmed all the happy moments and happy things so that I could really soak in the trip, being with my friends and making new friends and making new memories. And I'm so glad that I did that, so that I'm able to sit down here and tell you guys all about it and tell you how much fun I really had. For those of you who follow me on Instagram, which you totally should if you already aren't, I definitely was really stressed going into this trip, not having anything to do with the trip at all, but with COVID. And I spoke with EF literally the morning I was supposed to leave and my tour guide, and I was like, I'm really nervous. Like, this Delta variant is freaking me out. I know I'm vaccinated, but like being in a foreign country versus like being in your home country dealing with COVID, like they're two different things. My worst fear was getting stuck in Greece for 2 weeks and having to miss 2 weeks of school because I had COVID over there. I think that's why I was really freaking out, because I just knew I could not afford to have that time to do that. They were so helpful in making sure that I knew they would never send us on the trip if they thought that anything was going to happen. They currently had people there. They were giving us updates, and it was just really reassuring to like have somebody in that country and people in that country telling me they promised it was okay, because if that was a trip I booked on my own, like I think I would have been really freaked out to go. And so I was sort of consoled literally heading to the airport the morning of, and I was really grateful that they were continuously in touch with us about COVID, because again, I know that's why a lot of people are scared to travel right now. It's because of COVID, and yes, it's horrible and it's deathly, and I totally understand that. Let me just tell you that EF is not running any trips that they don't think would be safe. So in terms of how I planned this trip, I really just picked dates that worked out for me, and EF did all the rest of the planning, which again, I cannot stress how unstressful it was to be able to just be like, okay, here are my dates, here's the payment, and that obviously varies on what airport you're going out of and what dates you're going honest, you're just going to want to check the EF website to see how expensive trips are going to be. And then just to be able to be like, okay, everything's done. Flights are booked. Accommodations are booked. Everything's booked. Like, I'm just going. And another thing I get asked a lot is how I pay for these trips. Obviously, YouTube is my full-time job, but I do save money aside every single month that goes specifically into travel. So for when I want to do these trips and when I want to travel, it is set aside to go do that. If you're like me and you love to do that and set aside money, the best part is that EF has payment plans. You can just pay per month until you go. Depending on how far out your trip is, the smaller your payment goes. So if you're booking a year in advance, I'm telling you, it is so affordable to be able to do these trips. Like, I've been looking at quite a few trips since coming back, and I'm like, dang, this would be such a fun trip. And here are my prices and everything like that, how much money I have to set aside. So would I recommend EF Ultimate Break? Yes, and I already have to just about everybody that I've seen since coming back. I wouldn't be sitting here filming a video telling you how much I loved it or how much fun I had and how great it was to be able to meet new people and go on a perfectly planned trip for me to be able to see everything that I needed to see and more in Greece if I didn't actually mean it. And I want you guys to know that. I will leave all the links and everything down below, so if you want to go check it out, go check it out. I mean, there might be a future trip where we can all travel together or something that would be really amazing. I met some girls who I know will be in my life for a long time, so if you're looking for some new travel friends, like, this is your sign. And let me tell you another thing. I met a whole nother group of girls, 5 girls who came on this trip together who had met a couple years prior on an EF trip, and they've been traveling together ever since. So you could literally meet your future travel best friend. So to anyone who's on the fence, do it. Go check it out, even if you're planning the trip for next year, because hopefully most things will be under control, especially by then. I would totally do it. Get on that payment plan now. Start looking into those trips. And on top of that, they actually gave me a code. You guys can use Gracie100 and get $100 off your next trip, which would be amazing. Maybe I will see you guys soon on an EF trip. Who knows? Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you so much. If you have any other travel related questions or things that you want to know, I covered most of the ones I feel like that I've been seeing a lot on my Instagram. But if you have any more, I'll try and answer them down in the comments down below. I love you all so much, and I will see you soon. Bye.